Vegas, December 1962. The Sands Hotel and Casino's Copa room pulses with the electric energy of the Strip's golden age. Crystal chandeliers cast warm light over red velvet banquettes, filled with the most powerful people in entertainment. The air is thick with cigarette smoke, and the intoxicating mixture of money, fame, and possibility that defines Vegas in its prime. Frank Sinatra's Rat Pack owns this town, and tonight they're celebrating another sold-out show, with their usual mix of champagne, cigars, and competitive bragging that's as much a part of their act as the singing and dancing. The Copa Room is their private kingdom, where movie stars mingle with mobsters, where million-dollar deals are sealed with handshakes. Sammy Davis Jr. holds court at the center table, his diamond rings catching the spotlight as he gestures animatedly. At 37, he's the most versatile entertainer in America: singer, dancer, actor, musician, comedian, and now, secretly, quick-draw artist. That last skill isn't widely known outside his inner circle. But Sammy's been practicing for months, with the same obsessive dedication he brings to everything else. "I'm telling you, Frank," Sammy says, his voice carrying the rhythmic cadence that makes every conversation sound like performance. "I clocked myself at 1900ths yesterday. 19. That's faster than most of the cowboys in Hollywood. Faster than Glenn Ford on his best day." Frank Sinatra leans back in his chair, whiskey in hand, enjoying his friend's enthusiasm. The chairman of the board has seen Sammy master everything from tap dancing to trumpet playing. Kid's been practicing in his dressing room every night. Drives the stagehands crazy with that pop gun of his. Dean Martin chuckles from across the table, his perpetual martini creating small circles of condensation on the polished wood. Sam thinks he's gonna be the next Roy Rogers, gonna trade in his tap shoes for spurs, start doing westerns instead of musicals. The laughter is warm, familial, the kind that comes from men who've conquered the entertainment world together and know each other's strengths and weaknesses better than their own families. But across the room, sitting quietly at a corner table nursing a club soda while the party swirls around him, Audie Murphy watches the celebration with the detached interest of someone observing a foreign ritual. Murphy didn't come to Vegas for the shows or the gambling or the legendary nightlife. He's here for a Western Actors Guild meeting that ran late but got trapped by the December hour and the snowstorm that's grounded flights out of McCarran. So he sits alone, as he prefers, watching America's most famous entertainers play games they don't understand. The contrast is stark. Murphy in his simple dark suit, looking more like an accountant than a movie star, while the Rat Pack dazzles in their custom-tailored tuxedos and diamond cufflinks. They command attention effortlessly. He deflects it automatically. "Hey, isn't that Audie Murphy?" Dean asks, following Sammy's gaze across the room. Frank's eyes narrow with the calculating look of someone who's spent his career reading rooms and managing personalities. "Yeah, that's him. War hero. Makes those little westerns for Universal. Keeps to himself." Sammy's eyes light up with the kind of competitive fire that's driven him from Harlem poverty to Vegas stardom. In Sammy's universe, everything is competition. Who can sing higher, dance longer, get bigger laughs? Now, seeing an opportunity to test his latest skill against someone with a genuine reputation, his performer's instincts kick into overdrive. "You think he's fast with a gun? I mean really fast? Not just movie fast, but actually fast?" "He's supposed to be," Frank says with casual dismissal. "Hollywood fast. All those war heroes are supposed to be good with guns." But Sammy's mind is already working, seeing an opportunity to add another achievement to his impossible resume. In Sammy's world, there's no skill that can't be mastered, no challenge that can't be conquered through determination and talent. "I'm gonna ask him," Sammy says, standing up with the fluid grace that's made him a legend. "Sam, sit down," Frank warns, recognizing the look in his friend's eyes. Guy just wants to drink in peace, but Sammy Davis Jr. has never been able to resist a challenge, especially when there's an audience watching. He strides across the Copa room with the confident swagger of someone who's never met a stage he couldn't command or a skill he couldn't master. Before we continue with the challenge that would teach Sammy Davis Jr. the difference between entertainment and elimination, let me ask you something. Have you ever been so confident in your abilities that you challenged someone whose reputation was built on life and death rather than applause? Hit that subscribe button to see what happens when Vegas showmanship meets authentic lethality. Murphy looks up as Sammy approaches, his pale blue eyes assessing the entertainer with the same attention he might give to any potential threat. There's no hostility in his gaze, but no warmth either, just the flat calculation of someone who's learned to evaluate every situation for danger before considering social niceties. "Mr. Murphy, Sammy Davis Jr., huge fan of your work." Murphy nods politely, his voice carrying the soft Texas accent he's never tried to lose. "Mr. Davis, enjoyed your show tonight. You're very talented." Sammy's smile widens, encouraged by the civil response. It's the same smile that's charmed presidents and kings. "Thank you, sir. That means a lot coming from you. A real pro." He pauses, building the moment with theatrical timing that's second nature to him. "I was wondering if I could ask you something. My friends over there, we were discussing quick draw techniques. I've been practicing myself, getting pretty good at it." Murphy's expression doesn't change, but something shifts in his posture, a subtle tension that Sammy mistakes for interest rather than the warning sign it actually is. "That's nice," Murphy says quietly. "I was wondering if you might be willing to show me some techniques. Maybe we could have a little friendly competition. I timed myself at 1900ths yesterday. Not bad for an entertainer, right?" The Copa room's ambient noise seems to fade as Murphy considers the request. Across the room, Frank Sinatra watches with growing concern, his performer's instincts telling him this conversation is heading somewhere dangerous. Murphy stands slowly, his movement as economical as everything else about him. "You want to compete?" "Just for fun," Sammy says quickly, his hands moving in expressive gestures. "Show business guys testing their skills. Nothing serious. Like a friendly game of golf or poker." Murphy's smile is thin, humorless. Nothing's ever serious until someone gets hurt. But Sammy misreads the comment as playful banter, rather than the philosophical statement it actually is. "Oh, we'll use blanks, of course. Completely safe. Just want to see how an entertainer stacks up against a real pro." Murphy nods once. "All right, Mr. Davis. Let's see what you can do." Word spreads through the Copa room, with the speed that only Vegas gossip can achieve. Within minutes, a crowd has gathered, celebrities, high rollers, casino staff, and the ever-present media who follow the Rat Pack. Someone produces prop guns loaded with blanks. Someone else clears a space in the center of the room, pushing back tables and chairs to create an impromptu arena. The atmosphere shifts from casual party to focused anticipation. This is Vegas at its most essential, the moment when entertainment becomes spectacle. Money starts changing hands as people place informal bets, though most of the smart money is on Sammy. After all, he's been practicing obsessively, and Murphy's just a small man in an unremarkable suit. Sammy positions himself with the theatrical flair that defines everything he does. His stance is perfect, feet positioned exactly as his instructor taught him. Weight balanced on the balls of his feet, right hand poised 2 inches above his holstered weapon. He's spent hundreds of hours perfecting this moment, timing himself obsessively, studying frame-by-frame footage of the fastest guns in Hollywood. "Ladies and gentlemen," Sammy announces to the crowd with his natural showman's instincts, "you're about to witness a meeting of 2 different kinds of fast draw. Entertainment speed versus, well, whatever Mr. Murphy calls his speed." The crowd laughs and applauds, appreciating Sammy's ability to turn any moment into performance. Even Murphy's corner table has filled up, the Rat Pack watching with a mixture of amusement and growing concern. Murphy takes his position with none of Sammy's flourish. No stance, no preparation, no visible tension. He simply stands there, weight shifted slightly forward, hand relaxed at his side, looking like he's waiting for a bus rather than participating in a quick-draw contest. His posture is so casual it's almost insulting to the seriousness Sammy has brought to the moment. "That's not much of a stance," someone in the crowd mutters. "Maybe he's just being polite," another voice suggests. not trying to show up the entertainer. Sammy grins, confidence radiating from every pore, in his element now, surrounded by an audience hanging on every moment. "Ready when you are, Mr. Murphy." "Count it down," Murphy says quietly, his voice barely carrying over the crowd's murmur. The crowd falls silent as Frank Sinatra, despite his reservations, steps forward to officiate. "All right, boys, on 3, 1. Sammy's body coils like a spring. His breathing becomes controlled, focused. His eyes narrow with concentration. Every muscle in his body prepares for the explosive movement he's practiced thousands of times, the culmination of months of obsessive preparation. Murphy doesn't change position, doesn't tense, doesn't even blink. His stillness is so complete it seems unnatural, like a photograph of a man rather than the man himself. 2. Sammy's hand hovers closer to his weapon, ready to unleash the speed that's impressed every quick-draw instructor in Hollywood. His heart races with the excitement of competition, the thrill of testing himself against someone with a real reputation. Murphy stands like a statue, so motionless that some in the crowd begin to wonder if he's even participating. 3. Sammy's hand snaps downward with practiced precision. His draw is clean, fast, technically excellent, exactly the kind of performance that wins fast draw competitions and impresses audiences. The gun clears leather smoothly, comes up in a perfect arc. It's the culmination of hundreds of hours of practice. But Murphy's weapon is already there, not drawing, not moving, simply existing in his hand, aimed with casual precision at Sammy's chest, as if it had materialized out of thin air. The appearance is so sudden, so impossible, that several people in the crowd actually step backward in shock. The Copa room explodes in shocked murmurs and gasps. Sammy freezes, his own gun half drawn, staring down the barrel of Murphy's weapon, with the expression of someone who's just seen the laws of physics suspended. His practiced confidence evaporates, replaced by the dawning understanding that he's encountered something outside his experience. "Jesus Christ," Dean Martin breathes. "How the hell?" Frank Sinatra, who's seen everything Vegas has to offer, simply stares. The stopwatch in his hand shows numbers that don't make sense. 0.08 seconds from his count to Murphy's aimed weapon. "That's impossible," Sammy whispers, his voice barely audible above the crowd's buzz. Murphy holsters his weapon with the same fluid motion that brought it out. Automatic, unconscious, the result of muscle memory developed under circumstances no entertainment venue has ever simulated. "1900s is very good, Mr. Davis," Murphy says conversationally. "For entertainment." The distinction hits Sammy like a physical blow. For entertainment, not for real, not for when it matters, for show. "How?" Sammy asks, his usual eloquence abandoned. "How is that possible?" Murphy's expression doesn't change. "You were thinking about your technique, making sure you looked good, hitting your mark." His voice remains quiet, but it carries to every corner of the suddenly silent room. "I was thinking about killing you." The words hit the Copa room like a cold wind from another world. The party atmosphere evaporates, replaced by something else. The understanding that they've just witnessed something that exists outside the realm of entertainment. Sammy lowers his weapon, his hands shaking slightly despite decades of performing under pressure. But it's just practice, just fun. Murphy's smile is completely without warmth. "There's nothing fun about what I do, Mr. Davis. There never was." He turns to leave, but Sammy's voice stops him. "Wait, I don't understand. The timing, the speed. It shouldn't be possible." Murphy pauses, looking back at the entertainer with something that might be pity. "You've got talent, Mr. Davis, real talent. You can sing, dance, act, make people laugh. You bring joy to millions of people." His voice drops to barely above a whisper. "Why would you want to be good at killing them?" Murphy walks away, leaving Sammy standing in the center of the Copa room surrounded by 50 witnesses who've just learned the difference between performing danger and being dangerous. The silence stretches for nearly a minute before conversations slowly resume, subdued and thoughtful. The party atmosphere doesn't return. Something fundamental has shifted. Sammy remains standing where Murphy left him, processing what just happened to his understanding of speed, skill, and the difference between entertainment and reality. Frank Sinatra approaches carefully, recognizing the shell-shocked look in his friend's eyes. "Sam, you okay, kid?" Sammy nods slowly, but his usual quick wit has abandoned him. "Frank, I've been practicing for months. Hours every day. I thought I was fast." "You are fast, Sam. Fastest I've ever seen." "No," Sammy says quietly. "I'm entertaining. There's a difference." From that night forward, Sammy Davis Jr. never again mentions his quick-draw skills in public. The guns disappear from his dressing room. The practice sessions end. When asked about it by reporters, he simply changes the subject with smooth deflection. Because Sammy learned something that night that changed his understanding of what it means to be skilled versus what it means to be lethal. He learned that some talents exist outside the realm of entertainment, that some skills carry weight that can't be measured in applause or admiration. Years later, when friends ask about the quick-draw phase of his career, Sammy would always pause before answering. "I learned that some things aren't meant to be fun," he would say finally. "Some skills exist for reasons I don't want to understand." But those who were there that night in the Copa room knew the deeper truth. Sammy hadn't just been outdrawn, he'd been educated. About the difference between performing speed and accessing lethality. About the vast gap between entertainment value and survival necessity. Murphy's 0.08 seconds wasn't just faster than Sammy's 0.19, it came from a different universe entirely. A universe where speed isn't about impressing people, but about staying alive when other people are trying to kill you. In a town built on the illusion of glamorous danger, Audie Murphy reminded everyone what authentic lethality actually looks like. Not flashy, not designed for applause, just efficient and immediate and as natural as breathing. Sammy Davis Jr. had conquered every stage in America, mastered every entertainment skill imaginable, and earned the love of millions. But that night in Vegas, he learned there are some talents he was grateful never to need. And sometimes, that's the most important lesson of all. Hit that subscribe button and tell us in the comments. Do you think Sammy learned a valuable lesson? Or should some skills stay in their own worlds? And unfortunately, they don't make men like Audie Murphy anymore.